Welcome, everybody. Simon Rosenberg from Hopium Chronicles. I've got a great interview for you today. Here with me is Derek Tran, who's running a really spirited race in California 45. Race that's definitely gotten onto the national radar screen in the last few months. Really proud of what he's doing. He's running a terrific race. This is our 13th interview in the interview series that we've done with our top candidates running for the U.S. House. And these are the races that are the most likely to flip. And so your money and your volunteering goes so far here because you're going into races that are the ones that are really the difference makers. So Derek, welcome. We're really glad you're here.
Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone. So grateful to be here, and thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, well, listen, just take a few minutes to tell us about yourself. How'd you go crazy and run for Congress, and how things are going. Just give us an update. I mean, I think folks want to get to know you a little bit better and get to know a sense of the district and how everything is going.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for this opportunity, Simon. I'll start by saying that this is my first run for office ever in my entire life, and it's nuts that I'm running for this seat. But it's important for everyone to understand that, my life has always been about public service. That's in clear contrast to my opponent, Michelle Steele, who's about self-service. And my parents are Vietnamese refugees. They came to this country after the fall of Saigon, but that journey was not an easy one, obviously. My father, with his first family, he lost his first wife, two daughters, and two sons as boat people trying to make their first attempt to get out of the communist regime-controlled Vietnam. And subsequently, he met my mother, and they knew they had to get out, so they tried again. He survived with my three half-sisters, and they made it this time. And they were at the refugee camps in Indonesia for almost a year. They wanted to come to the United States of America. That's all they knew. When Canada, Australia, Switzerland, they opened up their borders, my parents were like, no, we have to go to America. And I'm so proud they did, because I was born here in this country because of their willingness to stay the course and wanting to come to this country. So growing up, we were immigrant family. My family was on WIC, food stamps, Section 8 housing. We grew up very poor. I remember standing in the grocery store with my mom, Simon, at the age of about eight years old, and she was paying for our groceries with food stamps. And back then, they were in these booklets and in denominations that you had to rip out.
Right.
And I was so embarrassed. I was like, why are we paying for our food with this fake money? But there was another feeling inside of me, though. That was one of awe and just deep gratitude to this country that never left. This country took in my parents as immigrants. They gave us food, money for food that goes on our kitchen table, Section 8 housing for a roof over our head. So I was so appreciative of that when I turned 18, without telling my mom, without telling my dad, my friends, I just marched into the recruiter's office and I enlisted in the Army Reserve. I wanted to give back to my country, and that's what started my love for public service. So my fast forward, I became a lawyer, dedicated my legal practice to representing the individuals, the consumers, employees that were discriminated, harassed, wrongfully terminated at the workplace. And I was proud doing that work, but I always knew that there was more for me. And that is why I'm running in this race for Congress, because I want to continue giving back to my country and my community. So I'm here now, and we're going to do it. We're going to win this race come this November.
What a great story. And thank you for sharing that. And tell us more about the district and how things are actually going in the race now.
This district is a majority minority district. We got 39% AANHPI and about 20-something% Hispanic. So that minority community, those two communities make up the majority of this district. And it runs from North Fullerton geographically all the way down to Fountain Valley. So it's a very long district. But I'm also proud to say that this district, California's 45, has the largest Vietnamese community outside of Vietnam. And in the 49 years that this community has been in this country, this community has been in this state, they've never had a Vietnamese American represent them. So they are excited about my race.
Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, it's amazing to think. I interviewed just the other day Rudy Salas, and that the Central Valley of California has never had an Hispanic congressman. I mean, it's
Right.
sort of shocking, right? The two of you really could be together, incredible ground, breaking incredible ground here, right, for your communities. It's really exciting. And tell us about the incumbent and how things are going. And for you, I know we just got a good poll this week for you. And what are the issues that you think are really driving the election? What's really resonating with your constituents?
Yeah, so the race is couldn't be going better. We are in the lead by 2 points within the margin, of course. But there's been two separate polls, one independent released by and done by USC, and then one internal shows that I'm up by 2 points. Just a few days ago, I don't know if you were following, but Fox News of all outlets made this race toss up from lean Republican. So, everything is going in the direction and momentum that it should be going for my campaign. And that speaks volumes to the fact that I'm running against this corrupt politician, Michelle Steele. She is MAGA all the way. She pretends to be this modest Republican, but she's not. She's signed on to life at conception twice. And all of a sudden, she's just right after the primary, she goes, I'm pro IVF, and she's running these commercial that I stand up for women's rights. Complete fraud. I mean, just a liar. And it's so frustrating. But the community sees through that, and I believe it because there is this energy and this momentum that not only do they want to elect the first Vietnamese American to represent this district, but they want to get rid of corrupt politicians. And what we're seeing with Michelle Steele is she's just a fraud and a fake. I am so proud that, the community has really stepped up for me. And we see that with, the fundraising. I take zero corporate PAC money, and I've been able to out fundraise a incumbent, a prolific fundraiser within the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And that's all through individual contributions that we've been able to do. So super proud of that fact as well.
How has the race changed, excuse me, since Kamala Harris became the candidate? Did you feel, has it changed? Is there more energy, more money, more, commitment on the ground?
Yeah, yes, and yes. So, I am seeing way more, not just energy, but this almost re-engagement with politics. What I saw before, when President Biden was still on the ticket, it's just like they didn't want to see this rematch between the two. And then after the debate, it was hard. Number one, to watch, and then to be a red to blue candidate, calling national donors and asking for money after the debate. It was tough. People are like, "Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
get." The president needs to step down, or two, we need to make sure we win the House because Trump's going to win this. So the energy level with the switch at the top of the ticket has been tremendous. I mean, you got national donors who want to not just deliver a presidency for Harris, but also a Congress where she can, pass laws and sign on to bills that can affect our everyday life. And that's exactly what we need.
Yeah, it's, your colleagues are reporting exactly the same thing all across the country, that there was just a huge upswell of money and volunteers. And to your point, people kind of coming off the sidelines, right? I mean, re-engaging in the game. All of a sudden, politics became a little bit closer to their lives, right? Instead of distant. And it's really been a huge boost. Kamala at the top of the ticket has not just generated excitement up there, but it's been everywhere in the Democratic Party across the country. Tell us a little bit about your field operation, your ground game. We're kind of close to the Hopium community. We got a lot of field organizers and people who do phone calls and do texting and canvassing. I mean, what kind of program do you have? And do you have the ability to have people from outside the district make phone calls, be part of phone banks? Tell us about that.
Yeah, 100%. And the best way to reach out to my campaign is to go to DerekTran4Congress.com. But we had a group from Seattle that was bussed in to help us canvass yesterday. So people were coming across the nation, up and down the state of California to help out, knock on doors. We have groups writing postcards and just sending postcards within the community, phone banking, text banking. We have all of that set up. So how however you can help out, whether it's money or your physical time and being out here knocking on doors, we're going to take it. We appreciate it. We need it. So anything you do is going to help this win. So thank you.
Well, that's great. And listen, good luck, man. I mean, this is a really important race. And what people should realize is that I shared this polling data, the USC polling data this week. We were ahead in every one of those targeted races that we're focused on, with the exception of one, Will Rollins's race, which is just 1 point. But when you've got when you're the incumbent this late in the game and you're down in a House race, it's not good. I mean, that polling, even though it may look close, it's actually where we want to be. I mean, every one of those polls is we're now, we're in a winning position in all these races. It was very exciting. And we also knew the races were going to be close. I mean, there was never any illusion, I think, about how close these races were going to be. And so those polls were consistent with, I think, about how we viewed, all of us back in DC viewed those races, which is why I think we've been so enthusiastic about sharing that data, right? And your data, because it is, I think, how we understood how this was going to evolve. And so it's very exciting what's happening with not just in your race, but with all of your colleagues. I mean, who are just kicking ass. It's a great group of candidates and you're going to really, the California delegation, if we can go get over the finish line, is going to be so much stronger and more powerful than it already is, right? Which is one of the great delegations in Congress. And so, Derek, thank you so much. Is there anything else we didn't cover or you want to throw in here before we go?
Look, I just want to, thank the Hopium community so much, and you, Simon, for having me on. Thank you, everybody, for your support, however you can support. So, from deep down within, I can't do this without you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Good luck, man. We're bringing home. We're going to be here every step of the way, all the way to Election Day. And one thing we're working on is that we are going to do calls for you, but we've been pushing all across California and across the country this notion of voting on day one, right? Where turn in your ballots early. If you do that, you come off the GOTV rolls. It allows your campaign to focus on lower propensity voters. We're going to be doing a Thursday night call session for you in the next few weeks. I don't know when it's going to be, but we had almost 500 people for Rudy Salas last night calling and postcarding. And so I want to make sure we get even more for you, Derek. That's going to be our commitment. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Good luck, Derek.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.